Hello there, this is Pilgrim Chris and I'm just showing you around my 4-year-old tent that I've spent 130 nights in, 7 of which were once consecutive. And this tent is the Lichfield Treklite 200. It's no longer made as far as I'm aware, but it's available on eBay. When it first was released, it was £199. Quickly went way below that, and then sold generally for around about 100. I picked it up for £39.99 new from Argos, of all places. So it just goes to show you don't have to go to fancy dan shops to get your gear. And it's reasonable too. I mean, I was looking around at the time for a tent. I didn't know much about what I wanted, but I wanted something cheap. So that was my first criteria at the time. So I'm going to have a show you around. I've opened the doors up at the moment, and here you can see this end of the porch. Poles, there's 2. Runs all the way through, snap pole, and there's one at the back here too. It has vents, vent at the back, pitch into the wind always, rear end first, we all should know that, and vents at the front. And I've never had a problem here with condensation, ever, because when you've pitched the tent, you get about 1 inch underground between the outer and the ground. Your vents are very good, and they can be closed, and when you pitch arse into the wind, it flows nicely through the outer and the inner, creating a nice dry environment. And also the added bonuses with this of pitching arse into wind, which you should do, is that I'll show you when we go inside the tent. It's a bit mucky in here because I've had my boots on today, not putting it up. We have this contraption. It's one of the downsides. There are a few downsides to this tent, and this is one of them. That there stops the outer bashing against the inner. Just a bit of the way it's made, really. However, when the wind's flowing through, that outer is taut as a drum, trust me. You have side vents here as well, and the venting at the top, I've not really put them together properly, so they're a bit flappy, but they're very simple. It's just a velcro piece of material. You also have 2 pockets, stow pockets, and at the top here you can see some hooks. It came with a little net basket thing, weighs nothing, and you just put your little bits and pieces in. And the size of it, well, I'll give you an example. I'll get in and have a little lie down, boots and all. So there's me, and there's the other side. I've had 2 people in here, myself and an ex-girlfriend. Makes for a very cosy camp, I can tell you. Probably why we're ex-girlfriends. And there's plenty of room. I mean, I tend to sleep near the door and stow my gear this side, away from the door. You have here hooks that hook the inner to the poles to give some better venting. I don't know if you can see the gap there. There's quite a good gap around the inner and the outer for airflow, and it's all the way around. It does come with a built-in nylon sheet, which is very durable. But it is durable because, like I said, I've spent a long time in here, boots and all, and never had a rip yet. It's starting to fray a bit at the seams now, as you can see. I mean, what do you get for the money? But I'm not one to worry about things like that, as if it does the job. There's no rips, tears or anything in it yet, so for nearly 4 years of use, it's not bad. Now, another downside is head height. You sit up in the centre here at the door, and I'm not tall. I'm 5'8", on a good day 5'9", as I tell the girls, and my head, sitting cross-legged, just touches the inner, unless I stoop slightly. However, I have cooked here. I've had my pot here when it's been howling outside and cooked nicely. My gear's stowed away, plenty of space. So it's not really a socialising tent, but then again, I didn't really want that when I bought it. The idea for me was somewhere to put my head down when I was walking, and that would be reasonable. And we talk about bomb-proof. It seems to be a word we're using with scarps and MLDs products these days. Well, this is bomb-proof, I can tell you. I've been in 65 mph winds with gusts up to 80, only twice, and I wouldn't like to repeat it, but the tent stood it, no rips, no tears, nothing. And when you consider we've got these little, you know, tensioners here that tension the outer, and this is inner pegged, that's the inner, and the outer clips over it. And on the outer, under here, and on the other side, and down at this side here with the poles, there are a couple of Velcro loops, just to give it a bit more stability in the wind. But as you can see, it's a taut pitch tent, and when you pitch it arse into wind, it's like a drum, very taut, and wind noise not bad at all. If the wind changes in the night, you notice, but that's with anything really, isn't it? Let's face it. Bowing, I've not noticed much bowing if it's pitched arse into the wind. Should you pitch it the wrong way around, or the wind changes and the wind comes from the front, you will know. The whole thing starts caving in on you. It doesn't collapse or anything, but it does billow. And there's been a couple of times when I thought, shall I get up and just turn it round? But because it's too much hassle, and you don't want to be taking a tent down in high winds, I tell you from experience, I've done it. And then chasing the outer across a field. Ah well. But no, there you go, that's the Treklite 200. There's not a lot to say about it. The inner doors here, just toggled. Weight of it, 1.9 when bought. I think I'd mentioned that. This one now, with everything, poles, pegs and stuff sack and all that, comes to about 1.65 kilos. So for a two-man little technical tent, hydrostatic head on this is quite high, I can't remember. Never had any rain come in. For a two-man technical tent, I didn't think that's bad, you know. And when you consider what I paid for it, you have to excuse me while I'm trying to get this little toggle off, one-handed, and zip the two zips, cords on the inside and out. I mean, you can make these lighter if you wanted, but you wouldn't really bother, because most ultralighters wouldn't even consider this tent. And the door, and just hook over, which can be done from the inside a little awkwardly. And then, like I say, you've got the seal, which is just Velcro to hold over. And there you have it, my trusty accommodation. 130 nights spent inside over nearly 4 years. Still, I do want the Trail Star. Thanks very much, and catch you all anon.